The Last of Us. The game series, once praised mostly only by gamers and gaming fans alike, has now evolved past the gaming sphere and infected pop culture as well with its TV adaptation by HBO. The show's impeccable accuracy to the source material, balanced with clever and meaningful deviations from it, present an infestation of Easter eggs, nods, and interesting bits that mirror or contrast the games. So here are the most eye-catching, fan-squealing, and mind-blowing references and bits of trivia so far from episodes 1 to 3 of HBO's The Last of Us. Fair warning though, this is gonna be a spoiler-filled video for both the games and the TV series. So don't chuck a brick at us please, Joel's gonna need that brick. So yeah, with that being said, let's get right into it.
Dang it. I forgot to give this to him.
Starting off with some cases from the heart-pounding first episode. In the beginning, we see Sarah wake up in the morning and get ready for the day ahead. But keen-eyed fans may recognize a familiar dinosaur in Sarah's desk. Yep, it's the birthday card that Sarah was supposed to give Joel, the same as it was in the game. While we don't see the contents of the letter in the show, it's safe to assume that it's the same with Joel being teased for being the best fossil of a dad around. But now comes the sad realization. Both in the show and in the game, Joel never got a chance to read the letter. Those unfamiliar with the game are likely to dismiss the letter as some random prop. But those who know, well, they know. It's a subtle but cruel way to add to the wound of Sarah's eventual demise, with words left unsaid. Yeah, excuse me, I'm gonna need to lie down and cry again.
There you go. Queen Firefly.
It's amazing to see beloved characters of The Last of Us have quality portrayals like those of Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey's take on Joel and Ellie. It's also neat that some of the original cast of the game have cameos in the show, with Troy Baker, Ashley Johnson, and Jeffrey Pierce all portraying different characters. The best of both worlds is the serendipitous and perfect casting of Marlene, played by Merle Dandridge. She's known for TV roles such as Grace in Greenleaf and Natasha Ross in Station 19. And some video game credits such as Alex Vance in Half-Life 2 and Marlene in The Last of Us. Her reprising her role as the leader of the Fireflies in the TV adaptation is an act of the stars aligning. Not only does Marlene look like Merle herself, but Merle has aged into Marlene's age in the game, with a little bit of white hair here and some weathering there and poof! Perfect casting. It's basically when art imitates life that goes on to imitate... art? Am I even using this right? Okay, next thing.
Let's go find us some fireflies.
The Last of Us is no stranger to recurring imagery, like that of an open window and curtains, which we'll get into later, and blinding lights held by military personnel, which the end of the first episode clearly alluded to. This is just speculation, but one less obvious piece of imagery that the show seems to use is that of the butterfly. The series has frequently used flying insects to represent various aspects of the game's story. There's the Fireflies, of course, the rebel group whose brand is a silhouette of the bioluminescent insect of the same name. And you also have the image of a moth that appears in The Last of Us Part 2. As for the show, we see in the first episode that Sarah's room has images of butterflies all around it. There are drawings of it in her board, her pillow covers have it as well, and finally a single blue butterfly up in the string lights here. A little bit later, we see another blue butterfly on the window in the kitchen. And a lot more later, like 20 years later, when Joel and Ellie take a quick rest in the apartment, what do we see beside Ellie barely hanging by the curtain over the window? That's right guys, a blue butterfly. With the show's production design being so meticulous, it wouldn't be surprising if this is a subtle way of connecting Ellie to Sarah. As the Firefly represented hope in the first game, and the moth represented longing in the second, the butterfly and its connection to Sarah, Ellie, and Joel's past in general could represent love. We'll have to see the rest of the show to see if the theory holds true. But what do you think? Leave us your thoughts in the comment section below. On to episode 2!
I wish I could play it.
It's common for game developers to hide some nods here and there of their past games within their latest, and Naughty Dog is no different. When The Last of Us came out in 2013, it had multiple references to Uncharted and Jak and Daxter series. Meanwhile, Uncharted: A Thief's End had references to all their popular series like Crash Bandicoot, Jak and Daxter as usual, and of course, The Last of Us. With all that said, it's nice to see the tradition live on even in TV adaptation form. By the end of episode 2, Tess sacrifices herself to give time for Ellie and Joel to escape a rampaging horde of infected coming their way. It was later confirmed via Naughty Dog's Twitter account that the lighter Tess uses to light herself and the infected in a literal blaze of glory is modeled after Sam's lighter from Uncharted: A Thief's End. Talk about going cold turkey. I'm sure Sam wouldn't mind. Right?
So is that everything you hoped for?
One of many iconic scenes of The Last of Us is Joel and Ellie's quick exchange looking over the State House. Like many other instances, the show lifts the game's script and cinematography almost one-to-one. Near exact same lines, character placements in the shot, and even the same piece of music used in the game is played in the show. The State House retains the ye old Naughty Dog yellow that their games were known for at the time, and of course, the subtle but poignant glance of Joel to his watch. It was a great scene back in 2013, and it's still a great scene in 2023. As Ellie said, you can't deny that view.
That was kind of awesome.
A subtle nod to one of the game's most powerful themes, Episode 2 shows a brief shot of a stuffed giraffe. These giraffes are a recurring symbol throughout the games as a representation of innocence and nature's enduring beauty despite the apocalypse. Those who played the first game know that they play a part in one of the most emotional scenes, but images of this majestic creature have already made appearances long before the game's final act, usually in places like a kid's bedroom or a toy store. Again, they're a symbol of innocence, whether it be of nature or that of children, that contrasts against the grim reality of the world of The Last of Us. Having a small cameo to this symbolism early in the show is a sweet little pluck at our heartstrings, which is a nice but all too brief change of pace from a show violently ripping our heartstrings out most of the time. Remember that view we were talking about? Ellie also said, "Jury's still out." Well, hold on to some tissue as the show goes on, cause these giraffes may have a surprise or two.
Yeah, I thought the two of you were inseparable.
Alright, got myself a box of tissues beside me now. Let's head on to episode 3, aka the Bill and Frank episode, aka Long Time, aka the most heartwarming and heartbreaking love story amidst monsters and madmen in recent memory since Twilight. Near the end of the episode, Ellie reads out a letter to Joel from Bill. He shares his final words to Joel with a clear mind and peaceful soul. At least as close as Bill can show to others that's not Frank. Ellie stops reading right as the letter mentions Tess. Neither Ellie nor Joel say what the rest of the letter says. All we can do is speculate, of course, as we do see a blurry glimpse of what the rest of the letter says. But it seems that the phrase, "I recommend pairing," is part of the last few lines as well as what is speculated to be Brunello. Given Bill's knowledge of mixing fine cuisine and wine, he may be referring to Brunello di Montalcino, a premium brand of Italian red wine. As Bill sparked his relationship with Frank with some rabbit and Beaujolais, maybe Bill ended this letter by recommending a meal that could have sparked Joel and Tess to finally feel something similar. Oh, come on, man. Not again. Okay, where's that tissue again? Aside from giraffes, flying insects, and boosting up another person to reach a ledge because Joel's knees are as fragile as a shiv, windows are another iconic piece of Last of Us imagery that is ripe with symbolism, specifically an open window with curtains flowing in the wind. As eyes are said to be the windows to the soul, windows themselves frame the story of humanity through a single fixed perspective. So, of course, the show would also use windows to great effect. The beginning of episode 1 properly starts off with a shot of the window and curtains of Sarah's room. Similar to how in the first game, the main menu shows a worn down and broken window. But the most obvious callback is at the end of episode 3. After Bill and Frank lived a good life and allowed Joel and Ellie to make use of what they've left behind, the two of them got what supplies they needed and rode away to continue their adventure. As the shot dollies away from them, we see Joel and Ellie's truck framed by an open window. Possibly the same window Bill opened up so that the rest of the house wouldn't smell. The shot lingers on as we listen to the heart-wrenching Lenderon sad song, Long Time. Yeah, I'm gonna need another box of tissues. Okay. I got this. Alright. And that's about it for the best references, Easter eggs, and trivias from HBO's The Last of Us episodes 1 to 3. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and let us know what other references and trivia from the show make you feel the feels as much as Joel makes clickers feel them chuck bricks. If you want to support us, Be sure to subscribe so that you won't miss out when we do another vid like this for the rest of the show. And hey, why not check out some of our other content as well? You can't go wrong with trying, just like shift doors in the game. There's no bad door as we don't have a bad video. I swear. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.